King Charles was heckled by a protester asking him about Prince Andrew's relationship with convicted sex offender Jeffrey Epstein yesterday on a visit to Lichfield Cathedral. And here's what happened when he was faced with those heckling questions about his brother.
How long have you known about Andrew and Epstein? Have you asked the police to cover up for Andrew? Have you asked the police to cover up for Andrew?
An awkward encounter, wasn't it? So protect himself and the royal family. Should the king publicly denounce his brother?
The British monarchy has survived centuries of war, scandal, and reinvention, but few challenges test it quite like family disgrace. Today, that challenge carries the name Prince Andrew. Once hailed as the Queen's favorite son, Andrew's fall from grace has cast a long and stubborn shadow across King Charles III's reign. Accusations, public outrage, and the lingering ghost of the Jeffrey Epstein affair continue to haunt Buckingham Palace. The question is now one of legacy and leadership. Should King Charles publicly denounce his brother to safeguard the monarchy's moral standing, or would doing so destroy the very foundations of royal unity and loyalty that define the crown? Below, we explore both sides of this royal dilemma in depth.
For the first time, the royals are out of step, very out of step with how the public feel about this. The public are very, very angry. And we're feeling like we're being treated like fools. You know, there's Prince Andrew, who is wanted for questioning to help in a huge inquiry about the sex trafficking of young women. There are victims in this, and the Prince Andrew can help. At least he can help. And he's doing nothing. And the danger now is that you have the king, who, for many looking on this, are saying, well, he's part of a cover-up here, because we still don't know. Prince Andrew paid £12 million to Virginia Giuffre. We don't know really what for. A woman he said he never met. The story does not work. The public need to know that actually the king, who we know is a decent man, I'm a monarchist, I want the monarchy to survive this, but it is facing an existential crisis unless he does something.
To begin with, the protection of the monarchy's reputation and moral authority is of great essence. Public trust in the crown has always been its most fragile treasure. Every headline about Prince Andrew's past drags the monarchy back into the swamp of scandal. If Charles were to publicly distance himself, it would send a powerful message that even royal blood cannot shield anyone from moral accountability. It would be a declaration that the modern monarchy stands for honor, not entitlement. In a world where people demand transparency, remaining silent risks being seen as complicity. The king could draw a bold moral line, one that reminds Britain and the Commonwealth that the crown still represents integrity above all. Now, secondly, the king would denounce Andrew to align the crown with modern expectations. We're no longer living in an age of quiet corridors and hush scandals. Today, every royal move is tracked, recorded, and dissected online. The new generation doesn't want mystery, it wants morality. If King Charles hopes to keep the monarchy relevant, he must show that it evolves with the times. By publicly condemning Andrew's behavior, he'd prove the monarchy isn't frozen in the past. It's adapting to an age of ethics, equality, and responsibility. Such a move would resonate globally, transforming Charles from a cautious figure into a reforming monarch, one unafraid to stand on the side of principle over privilege. And lastly, King Charles would denounce his brother to protect his legacy and Prince William's future. History is already writing Charles' story. Every decision now defines the legacy he'll leave behind, not just for himself, but for Prince William, the next in line. If Charles refuses to act, his reign risks being remembered as one that turned away from truth to protect family comfort. But if he confronts the scandal head-on, he becomes the king who restored dignity to the monarchy. The question isn't just about one brother, it's about the kind of institution Charles passes to his son. A monarchy that faces its flaws, or one that hides them behind palace walls.
What is the king supposed to respond to? The king is the fountain of justice. He has to respond to concrete, sensible issues at a key moment. He can't just sort of launch a statement on the basis
about
that
the contact that
but what I don't understand what he would be denouncing, what he would actually be saying.
Well, it stands for decency and what is right in this country. I think the country is looking at this and saying, this is wrong. Prince Andrew, as you say, is a wrong one. And yet the king has said nothing. He's said nothing about the victims. He's said nothing to denounce Epstein and what went on.
He can't do a running commentary, as I say.
But of course, monarchy isn't just an institution. It's a family, one bound not only by power, but by blood. And that's where the dilemma cuts deepest. Because for every argument that urges the king to speak out, there's another that tells him to hold his tongue. Let's turn now to the other side of this story, the reasons why King Charles may choose silence instead of condemnation.
Support legislation to strip him of his titles?
Yes, I think I would, because I think the public wants that. And if politicians are there for one thing, it's to reflect what the public want.
Would it be the wrong thing?
I think it would be the wrong thing, because the last person to have his title stripped was someone who was actually fighting for the Kaiser in the First World War. The last person to have his knighthood of the Garter taken away was Emperor Hirohito of Japan at the height of the Second World War. Whatever you think about Prince Andrew, the one thing he has not done, he's not a traitor, he has fought for his country. Just treating him like someone who actually was fighting against his country. I think we need to keep a sense of perspective. When it's over, when there is some concrete decision that the king can talk about, then that's the time to speak.
Okay.
But at the moment, the king would be just talking into the ether like a politician.
We will have
Princess
to leave it
Margaret,
there.
we're told her title would be stripped simply to marry a divorcee. What Prince Andrew has done is materially different.
No, she wasn't
Completely.
actually. She could keep her title. What she couldn't do is her children would not be in the line of succession.
Firstly, the king wouldn't denounce Prince Andrew because family loyalty still matters, especially in the House of Windsor. For centuries, the monarchy's survival has depended on unity. When one royal falls, the others close ranks. It's not always fair, but it's tradition. The late Queen Elizabeth II embodied that principle: never complain, never explain. It was her way of keeping the crown above public brawls. If Charles were to denounce Andrew, it would fracture that unity and risk turning the monarchy into a family at war. To millions, the king could appear not as a strong reformer, but as a brother who turned his back when the world was already turning away. Secondly, public denunciation could reignite the scandal. Sometimes, silence isn't weakness, it's strategy. If Charles speaks publicly, every tabloid and talk show would explode with speculation. The headlines would reignite, the story would resurface, and the royal wounds would reopen. The king could unintentionally give oxygen to a controversy that's finally beginning to fade. Instead of cleansing the monarchy, a public statement might just prolong the pain for both the family and the institution. And lastly, because royal discipline belongs behind palace walls, monarchy thrives on mystery, the king wouldn't denounce Prince Andrew. It's built on the idea that not everything needs to be said out loud. Charles has already taken decisive private action, removing Andrew from royal duties, stripping titles, and quietly exiling him from public life. In the king's mind, that may be punishment enough. To take it further, to make a public spectacle, could make the monarchy look reactionary, even petty. The dignity of the crown, after all, has always depended on restraint. Sometimes, power is best expressed not through words, but through silence. So now, King Charles stands at a crossroads. On one side lies public redemption, on the other, private loyalty. To speak risks tearing his family apart. To stay silent risks losing the trust of his people. And that's the paradox of monarchy in the modern age. A king must choose between the man he is and the symbol he represents. Whatever path he chooses will define not only his reign, but the very soul of the crown in this century. So, what do you think? Should King Charles publicly denounce his brother to protect the monarchy's reputation? Or should he stay silent, choosing blood over duty and family over politics? Drop your thoughts in the comments below. And if you want more deep dives into royal politics, scandal, and history, don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit that notification bell. Because this is just the beginning of the royal reckoning. Crown,